to the #1 daily Bitcoin pod. Let's get it. In today's show, I'll be breaking down the latest Bitcoin technical analysis as Bitcoin recaptures 38,000, looking to make a new 18-month high. Let's go. Also breaking news, Brazilian Bitcoin ETFs now have nearly $100 million in assets under management. Also breaking news, the SEC delays $1.5 trillion asset manager Franklin Templeton's spot Bitcoin ETF application. Also, the new Argentina president Javier Milei meeting with corrupted former USA president Bill Clinton, a reminder to trust nobody and verify everything. Also in today's show, the 11th anniversary of Bitcoin's first halving from 12 bucks to 37,000. We'll also be discussing buy the rumor, sell the news. Bitcoin ETF may spark a TradFi sell-off. We'll also be discussing a Bitcoin metric that looks into the future, eyeing 48,000 Bitcoin price action around the time of the ETF. We'll also be discussing the latest with Cardano founder Charles Hoskinson going off on the SEC and Bitcoin, mad that it gets a pass while Cardano and crypto has to suffer, which sparked a pretty interesting debate between him and Adam Back. Also in today's show, we'll be discussing, can Bitcoin really achieve Fidelity's $1 billion price target, and by what year? And speaking of Fidelity, the $4.5 trillion asset manager, they have talked about a 5% allocation into Bitcoin. If the other asset managers of the spot ETFs did the same, that can send a Bitcoin price action to $5.13 million per coin. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market, all this plus so much more in today's show. Welcome everyone just joining us. Massive shout out to everyone in that live chat. Let me know how the stream is. Hopefully we're smooth. Please do let me know. We like to do a quick little mic check before we kick it into high gear. Welcome Kevin Opar, 38,000 solid. That's right. We're already roughly at 38,002, only $300 away from the 18-month high. Hopefully we break it during today's live stream. Let's go. What it do, my ninja? Shout out to Dirty. Fairgrounds Fun Fairs. Welcome fam. Appreciate you. UK in the building. Appreciate all the support out there from Europe. What up, Tough T? Welcome to the #1 daily Bitcoin pod. Maximus says, hola, JV. Now we got rid of the spammers. Let's go. Amen. So shout out to our moderators, Maximus, Dankness, Coinfather, and Streamlabs. Appreciate y'all. Majin says the stream is smooth. It's great. Appreciate that. Good to note. Doug says, JV team be bringing the word and spreading the love. We met Max and Stacy in Charlotte on Sunday, says Doug Joseph. What a great experience. Wish you were there, JV. Wait, were you? Of course not. You have the show to run. Well, I appreciate that, Doug. I'm happy to see many of our Bitcoin fam got an opportunity to meet Max and Stacy at that meetup. So much love, much respect, and shout out to Max and Stacy. You know, they're amongst my favorites out there. Back the truck up for more, says Silas. You already know. You got to be stacking them stats. I told you guys that the bearish sentiment wouldn't last long. It was just a simple correction, and it goes to show you how fast Bitcoin recovers because the trajectory is north. I told you this. I've been telling you this. There's just too many bullish catalysts out there, so please don't listen to the perma bears. You're doomed to get wrecked if you do. Pumper Jones. Let's go. Send it. Hey, y'all. What up, Maladen Malinik? Appreciate ya. Just checking in, says Robert Fenton. What it do, my fam? Good morning from Australia, JV. Shout out to Will Stopson versus Guru. Appreciate you tuning into the stream. What it do, Jeff and James and Teddy. Appreciate y'all as well. Jeff Rhodes says the stream is great. 42,000. Here we come. Send it. And don't forget, this is a live and interactive show. You'll notice a poll going on right now in that live chat. When do you feel the Bitcoin price action is going to hit that $100,000 milestone? Will it be between the first and second quarter of next year, or the third and fourth quarter of next year, or will it be delayed until 2025? Please do cast your vote, and towards the end of the show, we'll be reading out all those results. What up, Corona Free Radio? We don't need no education. Hey, Gary, leave the Bitcoin alone. Preach. What it do, Cryptolution? Shout out to upstate New York. New York is actually my birthplace in Long Island. Gotta love New York. 1 billion is not interesting. I'll settle for 1 million, says Silas. But sure, if we have dollar hyperinflation, Bitcoin can go to $1 billion. $1 billion a coin. What would I do with myself? Great question. So keep that thought. And let's dive into our market watch as we do each and every day. But first and foremost, if you're new to the channel, be sure to smash the subscribe button to receive daily premium crypto news alerts every day, just like this. Also, be sure to smash the like as it helps out tremendously closely with the YouTube algorithm. The goal is to get this channel to 100,000 subs along with that Bitcoin price action. So let's make it happen. But anyways, fam, let's kick it off with our market watch. Welcome to pod episode number 1475 of the Crypto News Alerts pod. I'm your host, JV, and today is November 28th, 2023. Checking it out right here, we can see Bitcoin is pumping up already 3.5% on the day, trading above $38,200, roughly only 300 away from new 18-month highs. So we'll be watching this price action throughout the show. We have Ether trading back above 2,000, up 3.3% on the day. Solana, one of the top gainers, up 7%, trading above 58 bucks. With BNB, XRP, Cardano all also pumping and in the green. And checking out Bitcoin for the past month, because they say when in doubt, zoom out. Let's see where we at. Bitcoin is still up over 11% on the month. We have Ethereum up 15%, BNB up 1%, XRP up 11%, Cardano up 32%, and Solana stealing the show, up over 82%. And checking out coinmarketcap.com, the current crypto market cap is sitting at $1.43 trillion with roughly 49 billion in volume for the past 24 hours. Bitcoin dominance back on the climb, currently at 52.1%, with the Ether dominance at 17.3%. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers of the past 24 hours, we have Say up 34%, Terra Classic up 19%, and the FTT scam token up almost 19%. Now, which altcoins, if any, are you most bullish on for this bull cycle? Please do let me know, and later on in the show, I'll be reading all those comments out loud. And checking out Crypto Bubbles so we can get a broader perspective of the overall market right now. You can see on the day, virtually every major crypto pumping and in the green, with Say leading the pack up 34%. Zooming out on the weekly, virtually everything in the green with even more impressive gains. And zooming out on the monthly, virtually every major crypto in the green, minus a handful such as Satoshi Vision, eHex, and Hex. And rumor has it, the SEC is trying to serve Richard Hart, who is the founder of Hex. And checking out the Crypto Greed and Fear Index, we're currently rated a 68 in greed. Yesterday was a 66, last week a 71, and last month a 72 in greed. So there you have it, my crypto fam. How many of you are currently bullish on the King Crypto? Let me know. We only have a couple more days left of Moonvember before we enter the final month of the year, December, and then 2024 right around the corner. We know Bitcoin halving scheduled to take place in April, roughly 5 months out. Big deadline for the spot ETFs in the United States being January 10th. That's what, roughly 45 days away. So things are about to get lit. What it do, Nocturus? Appreciate you, man. What's good? I like the Crypto Bubbles. Thank you, Robbie Kaiser. You can check it out. I think it's cryptobubbles.net, if I'm not mistaken. Greetings from Belgium. Shout out Patrick Van de Put. I appreciate you tuning in. Tennessee Eco Man says XNA is mine, and it's still early. Crypto Surge says, what it do, JV? Appreciate you, Surge. Welcome to the show. Barry BTC in the building. What up? He says, JV and fam, I hope you're good for the 100,000 Bitcoin from Holland. That's right. Also, when we hit that 100K milestone, everyone's invited for the 100,000 Fiesta in Puerto Rico to party it up with JV to celebrate Bitcoin crossing the epic milestone of 100,000 per coin. For more info on the 100K Fiesta in Puerto Rico and to join us, check out our Discord at discord.cryptonewsalerts.net. Abel says, let's go 42,000. Send it. What up, Cincy Shaves? I appreciate you tuning up. Philip, what it do? Let's turn up. Sack Gary Gensler. You already know. Gary's the only human being standing in the way of the spot ETF apps, and there's currently 12 of them on his office desk right now, just awaiting to be approved. I'm all in on Bitcoin, says Majin saying. That's what's up, like Goku style. Let's go. What part of Long Island, JV? I remember living in Lake Ronkonkoma. I remember living in Islip, so around those areas, fam. I remember playing on Little League team on Lake Ronkonkoma when I was like 6 or 7 years old. Those are kind of my earliest memories I can remember. Good stuff, fam. The alts, Mr. Crypto Lane is bullish on Cause, Dex Toro, and ICP. Still mostly bullish on Bitcoin, though. The King, word up. Long live the King. Who are we voting for? I'm kind of torn with these politicians. I almost feel like if we had the power to choose things of the future, maybe they wouldn't allow us to vote. Maybe they'd allow us to vote to just divide the populace. I'm starting to feel this way. I feel like Democrat and Republican are both a part of the same evil because the powers that be control both sides of the branch. It's like a part of the same tree, if you know what I mean. And I can discuss this topic a little further, uncensored on Rumble, but I gotta be very careful about what I talk about here on YouTube for obvious reasons. It's heavily censored. If Bitcoin hits 10 million, then if Satoshi can come back and become emperor of the world, wouldn't that be something, right? All hail Satoshi. Morton says, who we voting for? I mean, that's up to you, big dog. I think here in Puerto Rico, we don't even get to vote for the US president. That's just the way that it is, so I'm not voting whatsoever. Should I convert my ETH to Bitcoin, says Shockley. I'll let the crypto fam answer that question. What do you guys think? Should anyone holding Ethereum right now convert it to Bitcoin? What are your guys' thoughts? Let them know. OG Backroad Crypto Bootleg, welcome fam. Roy says, me too, Suffolk County. Exactly. Got my boat in Islip. Used to fish at Lake Ronkonkoma. Small world, Roy. How cool is that? Both my parents are from Brooklyn, New York, by the way. I've lived in New York. I've lived in California. Grew up most of my life in Florida, but I've lived in different countries around the world. I've spent 13 months in China, believe it or not. I've lived in Costa Rica for a few years. I lived in Medellin, Colombia. I've been to Bali. I've been to Thailand. I like to travel, experience different parts of the world, get a broad perspective of different culture, if you know what I mean. Shout out to Robin Osorio. I appreciate you subscribing to the #1 daily Bitcoin pod. Move to the forest. Some hopium word. AK, why do you think Bitcoin will go to this number? We're going to be discussing it here in today's show. And it's not me predicting it going to this number. It's Fidelity, one of the world's largest asset managers. So keep that in mind. Convert ETH to Solana and INJ, says Steve. CJ, what it do? YouTube is like walking on woke eggshells. Word up. Did you like China? Honestly, no. Not the best place to be in the world. There's many other countries with more favorable governments that aren't involved in communism, with more freedoms and liberty. So I would probably never go back to China, maybe to visit. There's some things I liked in China, but overall, no, it has no comparison to like living in Puerto Rico or in the United States or other places around the world. So not the biggest fan. Medellin, Colombia, isn't that a dangerous city? No, it used to be back when Pablo Escobar was reigning, but they cleaned it up. It's actually one of the most innovative cities in the world and one of the most beautiful cities with amongst the beautiful women. I highly recommend visiting Medellin, probably one of the most beautiful cities there are. Medellin translates to the city of eternal spring because it's like springtime year round. I spent 6 months there, had a blast. I didn't feel my life threatened in any way, shape, or form. So no, it's not dangerous. So don't read or hear what you see on the TV because they're misleading you. They don't want you to leave your bubble within the United States. So typically they talk down upon every other country. That's just the nature of the beast. Who is Satoshi Galt? Good question. No clue. Never heard of him. Emilio Gonzalez, welcome fam. Good to see you. Is the USA the best in the world? In my opinion, I currently am in a territory of the United States, so I can't talk too much-ish. But no, there's other places that are amazing that you would love, and you got to visit firsthand to experience. Just don't take my word for it either. But there's a lot of beautiful places to live. Almost like United States is falling behind and becoming a second world country because there's other countries basically doing things way better than the United States. You know what I mean? And the politicians, I mean, tell the tale of the story. You're only as good as the leader of the free world. And look at the leader of the United States. Yeah, I mean, not looking so good right now, fam. You know that. Exchanged my ETH to Bitcoin years ago. Well done, Maximus. But anyways, let's dive into our Bitcoin technical analysis. Check out the charts where the Bitcoin price action is likely to go next as we continue this pump. Respect the pump. Bitcoin price is up today, rebounding from the November 20th correction below 37. Isn't it crazy? I told you guys expect the extreme volatility and hitting the intraday high of roughly 38.3. The rally comes as traders' bullish bias for the Bitcoin price continues to firm up after traders digested the Binance settlement, the hype around the market's belief that a spot Bitcoin ETF would be approved and bring significant cash inflows into Bitcoin, pushing the price across the crypto market higher. And here you're looking at the Bitcoin price action chart, looking quite bullish on the day. Now, initially, the Bitcoin price flashed mixed signals after CZ's guilty plea and the DOJ's $4.3 billion settlement with Binance. I gotta use the Janet Yellen term, just saying. After taking some time to digest the outcome, the market began to notice the Binance exchange has not having a mass exodus of funds like FTX did when its liquidity crisis first became public. Now, while initially Binance's Bitcoin reserves were down 17% from their all-time high, the exchange is starting to see Bitcoin inflows once again. And since the initial outflows, Binance Bitcoin balance is up nearly 1%. And by comparison, the FTX Bitcoin reserves were depleted by 99.9%. Good Lord. From the all-time high when the exchange experienced a run on the bank back in November of 2022, and thus has never recovered. And while Binance's Bitcoin reserves are at their lowest since 2017, they maintain the largest amount of Bitcoin compared to the other centralized exchanges. That's because they're the largest in the world. So here's the tail of the tape. Bitcoin exchange balances. Binance holds 505,000 BTC currently on their balance sheet. Not far behind is Coinbase Pro holding 441,000. We know Coinbase being the largest exchange in the United States. Then we have Bitfinex at 381,000, OKX at 132,000, Gemini at 117,000, Bitflyer at roughly 52,000, Kraken at 50,000, Bybit at roughly 39,000, BitMEX at roughly 18,000, and Gate, which I've never heard of, at roughly 13,000. Now, Marcus Levin, the co-founder of the XYO network, noticed that after the Binance settlement, here's what he had to share. The sustained uptrend for Bitcoin and much of the rest of the digital asset market is demolishingly clear. The pullbacks for Bitcoin are not as pronounced as many have expected, suggesting there is a strong accumulation happening. That's right. We got massive asset managers most likely seeding their spot Bitcoin ETFs, and they can do it indirectly through miners, which more than likely is what many of them, such as BlackRock, are currently doing because they don't want to make the price of the Bitcoin, increase because they want to keep it on the low. So there's alternative ways to accumulate. Now let's discuss the potential spot Bitcoin ETF approval boosting market sentiment. Despite a bevy of macro headwinds, the Bitcoin price continues to push higher, achieving now over 130% year-to-date gains. Let's go. With the volatility continually increasing, and with some analysts believing that Binance and the DOJ settlement is bullish for the spot Bitcoin ETF approval, noting a similar deal achieved with Arthur Hayes back with BitMEX a few years back. And taking the positive sentiment further, some believe that the Binance settlement is positive for the entire crypto market, marking the end of the Wild West era. And while Bitcoin market sentiment may be below last month's levels, it remains firmly in greed, reflecting sustained strength, as you can see here in the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index. Now quoting Bitcoin hedge fund Capriole, he sees the increased sentiment reflecting on price by noting that a high time frame technical bias is bullish towards a range high of 58,000. Let's go. And on the daily time frames, 42 to 45,000 remains the near term Wyckoff target. And I'm suggesting the same. I feel once we break 38.5, we're likely to head on up to 42,000. Let me know if you agree or disagree. And after the rush of spot Bitcoin ETF amendments back in mid-October, the SEC refused to approve a spot Bitcoin ETF despite numerous applications, including BlackRock, Fidelity, ARK Invest, and 21 shares, all due to Gary Gensler not allowing it to happen. Why do you think that is? Use your brain. The SEC delayed approvals, November 17th's deadline. The SEC's next big deadline is January 10th. Both Grayscale and BlackRock execs met with the SEC on November 20th to discuss the spot Bitcoin ETF approval. And according to the reports, an approval may generate $600 billion in new demand. Crypto quant analysts believe that an ETF approval will lead to a $1 trillion increase in the Bitcoin market cap. And Galaxy Digital predicts a 74% price increase in the first year after the launch of a spot Bitcoin ETF. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Now, record weekly inflows as year-to-date total surpass $1.5 billion. While some investors may be awaiting increased liquidity from approved ETFs, institutional investors have already begun deploying funds into Bitcoin and crypto. According to CoinShares, the institutional investors have pushed more than $1.5 billion into crypto in the past year, as you can see here in this chart. So clearly, these institutions are more bullish than ever before. And of the $1.6 billion pushed to the crypto assets last year, over $1.5 billion flowed directly into Bitcoin. And in the past week, 311 million of institutional inflow was for Bitcoin alone. And the total weekly inflows into crypto by institutional investors of 346 million is the most since November of 2021. And if you remember, it was November 10th, 2021, we hit the current all-time high of $69,000 per BTC. Now for some breaking news just recently in, Brazilian Bitcoin ETFs have now nearly 100 million in assets under management. Can you say bullish? You're damn right. Now, what if Brazil, one of the largest, if not the largest country in South America, was to adopt Bitcoin as a legal tender? We're talking about a mass population. It would be game on, to say the least. Also, in other breaking news, yes, another delay, unfortunately. The SEC delaying $1.5 trillion. Asset manager Franklin Templeton spot Bitcoin ETF application. Not so shocking, is it? And also, what is shocking, new Argentine president Javier Milei meeting with corrupted former USA president Bill Clinton. A reminder to trust nobody and verify everything. Why do you think he's meeting up with these mofos? I mean, he just got elected president. Here's what David Icke has to share. Why does the mainstream fake alternative media keep swooning over these frauds? It's pathetic. Milei, Wilders, Trump, Maloney, ad infinitum. The people are awakening, comes the cry. Yes, they are. But the next stage of this awakening is to see the politics and political saviors are not the answer. They're the problem. Diversions, calculated time buying cul-de-sacs. Oh, but they are right-wing and telling us what we want to hear. Exactly. And the mainstream fake alternative buys it over and over, naively. The human disease. Once you fall right-wing or left-wing, the cult has you. So there you have it. Let me know if you agree or disagree with that sentiment. Do you think Javier Milei is the real deal, or did he deceive all of us by talking a big game and ending the central bank, in Argentina? That chainsaw, talking about being pro-Bitcoin, anti-CBDC. Was he just blowing smoke up our butts, knowing that's what we want to hear, but already doing business with these corrupt mofos? I'd love to know your honest thoughts, fam. I'm going to read these comments out loud. Welcome, Stephen Hubbs. You might as well title the video, "When Will Pigs Fly?" I see you got jokes, fam. Strong men create good times create weak men create hard times. Amen, Roger Allen. Appreciate you tuning in. Smash the like button. Thanks for the reminder, Maximus. You the man. We are all in hard times. This is true. UFO Nut, welcome to the live stream. Hit another red flag. It is very shocking. Trust no Clinton. Just saying, out of all the people you could be meeting up with, it's not a good look, just saying. The SEC just said that it wants feedback from the public on whether it should approve or disapprove a spot Bitcoin ETF, solicited by asset manager Franklin Templeton. Good to note, track you too. Well, we all know Fidelity is full of ish. They are full pre-marketing their spot Bitcoin ETF. Jack says, I wouldn't be surprised if Javier was just blowing smoke. David Icke's years ahead of his time. Yes, long live David Icke. I've been following him for the past 15, 20 years. Myself, I don't cover him commonly here on the show because we know YouTube is heavily censored, so I got to be very careful about what I share and talk about. However, on Rumble, I'm open to speaking freely about how I truly feel, so make sure you're following me on Rumble as well, fam. JV, 100%. Appreciate you, fam. Cybertruck Thursday, says Tennessee Eco Man. Have you looked into Suka yet, brother? I'll be asking till I get a yes. I haven't, so eventually I guess I will. If you can share some insights about it, let me know, because I know nothing about that. I don't believe any politician, never will. Word. Politics is a dirty game, clearly. You know what I mean? Yes, if Javier allows Max and Stacy to establish a Bitcoin standard in Argentina, that would prove he is base. Yes, that's the million-dollar question. Will he truly adopt Bitcoin as the legal tender? Actions speak louder than words, so I don't want to judge a book by the cover, but thus far, seeing this photo with Mr. Clinton, not a good look. Now I think everyone's going to be feeling very sus. But what are your thoughts, fam? And shout out Yaheem Stone. I appreciate you tuning in to the live. Clinton went to Lolita Island many, many times. Not shocking, right? Craziness. A lot of corruption in these circles, fam. It's a big club. Clearly, we're not in it. We're just trying to get this mass Bitcoin adoption so we can take off. You know what I mean? Let's go. But anyways, fam, yes, only reporting what Fidelity said. Exactly. That's 100% correct. So don't shoot the messenger. When I share these targets, I don't pull them out of my butt. I'm actually citing one of the largest asset managers in the entire planet. But with that being shared, now let's dive into our next story of the day and discuss the Bitcoin halving, which is right around the corner. Because check it, this is the 11th anniversary of Bitcoin's first halving from 12 bucks to 37,000. We've come quite a long ways. Bitcoin, the largest crypto by market value, experienced its first halving 11 years ago today. So happy Bitcoin halving anniversary, fam. As the community celebrates the anniversary of the first Bitcoin halving, it's timely to revisit some of Bitcoin's historical milestones ahead of the next halving expected in April 2024, roughly 5 months out. How many of you are pretty pumped up for the next halving? Do let me know. The first Bitcoin transaction occurred nearly 15 years ago, January 3rd of 2009. A few months after the synonymous creator of Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto, published the Bitcoin white paper in October of 2008. Then November 28th of 2012, 3 years and 10 months after Bitcoin's first block was mined, the first ever halving event took place. At the time, Bitcoin traded at around $12. And according to data from StatMoose, 308,000% below Bitcoin's current price, according to data from CoinGecko. Now imagine being involved in Bitcoin at this time in 2012 at around the time of the halving and your gains of Bitcoin being up 308,000%. Good Lord. Now, though Bitcoin's halving and digital currency's 21 million supply cap are not directly described in Nakamoto's white paper, the document still hints at certain mechanisms to control the creation of the new Bitcoin. Here's what the white paper reads: to compensate for increasing hardware speed and varying interest in running nodes over time. The proof of work difficulty is determined by a moving average, targeting an average number of blocks per hour. If they're generated too fast, the difficulty increases. So unlike some basic info in the Bitcoin white paper, the halving aspect is mentioned in the Bitcoin source code. The halving is specifically available on the Bitcoin Core GitHub repository on the validation CPP file, which indicates the miner's block subsidy is cut in half every 210,000 blocks, which will occur roughly every 4 years. Now, the Bitcoin halving mechanism had been programmed into the Bitcoin mining algorithm to counteract inflation by maintaining scarcity. That's right. Before the first halving occurred, miners were compensated with as much as 50 BTC per block. After the first halving event back in 2012, the subsidy was slashed to 25 BTC. How many of you were around in Bitcoin at this year of 2012? Let me know. And followed by the second halving in 2016, which reduced the subsidy to 12.5 BTC. And the most recent Bitcoin halving occurred in 2020, cutting the block subsidy from 12.5 BTC to 6.25 BTC. Now, how many halvings have you experienced? I got started in Bitcoin in 2017, so right after the 2016 halving occurred, and I saw Bitcoin skyrocket from roughly 1,500 from early 2017 to as high as 20,000 that same year. So talk about the market being lit, and that was my introduction into Bitcoin. Now, as Bitcoin halving significantly increased the crypto scarcity, the Bitcoin price cycle has been historically impacted by the halvings. That's right. It all runs on a 4-year cyclical cycle. Now, just a year after its first ever halving, Bitcoin risen to nearly 1,000, while the second halving triggered a 350% surge during the year after the event. And with Bitcoin subsequently rallying to then all-time highs of nearly $20,000 in December of 2017. So in the aftermath of the third Bitcoin halving, Bitcoin surged to its all-time high of almost 69,000, and I believe that was on November 10th of November of 2021. Here you can see the Bitcoin halving history. Numbers don't lie. You can see the prices on the halving day, as well as the prices 150 days later. Now, the anniversary of the first Bitcoin halving comes as the crypto community awaits for the fourth Bitcoin halving, only 5 months out, expected to occur currently on April 17th of next year. Many Bitcoin advocates were especially bullish on the Bitcoin price in 2024 amid the growing expectations that the US regulators can finally approve the spot Bitcoin ETF, and the top ETF analysts over at Bloomberg still give it a 90% probability that we get the approval by January 10th. And Matrixport recently published a study. They believe there's a 100% chance of the approval. But what are your thoughts, fam? The 2024 halving won't be the last one, though. Bitcoin miner reward is expected to be halved 34 more times until it reaches 0 BTC after all 21 million Bitcoin are officially mined. And based on the current schedule, the maximum supply of 21 million Bitcoin will be reached at around the year 2140. 40. So we got quite some time left until the final Bitcoin is mined. But let me know your thoughts surrounding this Bitcoin halving. Do you feel we're going to reach a cycle peak the year of the halving, or do you think it'll be the year preceding the halving, as history has shown us? Please do let me know your thoughts, fam. Chris Minko, what it do? I was here in 2012. Nobody really knew what would happen after the halving. Remember, Bitcoin was only 3 years old at that point. Well, God bless you, man. That's fantastic to be involved in Bitcoin for such an early time in that development. That's incredible. I mean, again, Bitcoin was so crazily inexpensive and affordable. Hopefully you load it up and are sitting on thousands of BTC. I'm praying you do. Conversation is not necessarily bad. It's the actions that speak. Well said, Matt. Appreciate the insights there. Don't pizza with your, you don't want to be buying pizza with your Bitcoin. Well, at least the lesson of the 10,000 Bitcoin in the first transaction, that is outrageous, buying that Papa John's pizza. I think they bought 2 large pies for 10,000 BTC, which is probably now worth hundreds of millions of dollars, which is wild, to say the least. Joe Quinn Pavon, I appreciate you subscribing to the Daily Pod. Much love, much respect, my fam. Preach it, JV, let them know. Thank you, OG Blockchain. I appreciate you tuning in, supporting the movement. When they fear them, they meet with them and try to slow them down or bribe them to threaten them. Very possible, Bill Allen, you're referring to Javier Milei with Bill Clinton. I could only imagine what was being discussed there. Yeah, I mean, next year there is now Bitcoin more to buy. Right on, Barry. I mean, I think there's roughly 2 million Bitcoin sitting on the exchanges, but the major asset managers are currently fighting over it. So you got to keep that in mind. Do not sell your precious Bitcoin because you may not ever be able to buy it back, especially at these prices. Just saying. Bitcoin's still up close to $1,200 on the day. Let's continue this pumpage, shall we? I wish I was around for the first halving. Wouldn't that been lit? Crypto surge. I wish I had my podcast talking about Bitcoin every day then, because more of you would have been orange pilled a lot earlier. But as they say, we all buy Bitcoin at the price we deserve. It's just the way it is. And we're still early in the grand scheme of things because most of the population have no clue what Bitcoin truly is. They haven't put in 10 hours of research, let alone 10,000 hours, as Michael Saylor suggests. You know what I mean? So digital dankness, welcome my fam. When your coworkers become assets, word. Digital dankness, so I'm sorry, hope you figure it out. Oh, yeah. I mean, many of us lost our Bitcoin in boating accidents. It happens. I mean, Max Kaiser talks about losing all his Bitcoin in a boating accident. Alex Jones lost his 10,000 Bitcoin gifted by, you know what I mean, Max Kaiser. So be careful out there, fam. You can't be too safe. But here's one thing that's for sure. Do not keep your crypto on the exchanges, regardless of what exchange it is, because when you keep your crypto in an exchange wallet, you don't own the private keys of the wallet. And there's a saying, not your keys, not your coin. So the smart thing to do is to protect it, is to put it in self-custody cold storage wallet, such as a Trezor device where you own the private keys. So if something were to happen to the exchange, you still have your precious crypto, because so many people don't know any better. So especially if you're new, now you have been warned. Roger Allen says 9/1/23 to 10/1/23, Bitcoin 25,000 up to 28. Then October 1st, 2023 to November 1st, Bitcoin 28,000 to 35,000, and November 1st to December 1st, 23,000 or 23 Bitcoin to 42,000. Sounds very reasonable. I think 42 is the next logical target. Personally, my fam, lost the majority of mine to Celsius. Sorry to hear that. So many people were chasing yields in some of these yield programs, and unfortunately, they went under, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and many of you probably will never see that crypto ever again. So it's not worth chasing the 5 or 6 or 7% yield. Just keep it in self-custody cold storage and hodl it for the long haul, because every Bitcoin hodler of 4 years or longer is in the green, and that's the facts. That would be my advice to you. Voyager here, started to hear that as well. There were so many shady companies that went under, unfortunately, during this bear run. Hopefully it changes though, right? This next bull market. Just my take, before Bitcoin, all I ever had to grow was gold and weed. That's hilarious. How do you grow gold, by the way, Roger? December 4th, 42,000 called it. Okay, December 4th is 1 week from today. So you're calling 42,000. Good to note, OG. We'll hold you accountable. Emilio Gonzalez, holy moly, greatly appreciate that $20 super chat. You are the man. He says, read my post, please, JV. It won't let me send it on the super chat. What post? Let me scroll up and see if I find it here in the chat. I'm going to look for a post from Emilio. Let's see. And if it's not in this chat, let me know where to go to read it, because I'm not 100% sure because I didn't see it. And if you can copy paste it if it was shared earlier, because I'm scrolling up, not seeing it, but I don't want to leave you hanging. So if you can, just copy paste it again without the super chat. I'll make sure to read it, but I don't see it for whatever reason. Laserface says December 25th, 50,000 would be a great gift for us all. Amen. That would be a very Merry Christmas on Christmas Day, to say the least. Scroll down, says Emilio. I'm looking, fam. I just don't see it. Are they trying to censor us or what's going on? But yeah, I mean, I scrolled. I just don't see anything from you, brother. So I don't know what's going on, but try to copy paste it if you don't mind. We'll figure it out. Quant Crypto says, hold the fat bag for the long term. Thank me later. Word up, Panda Poet. Appreciate you tuning in. Somebody is bullish on quant. Why you hezzy? Welcome to the live stream, fam. Appreciate you. Jackie says, where should I put my crypto? I have a bunch on the exchanges. Does it still gain? Yes, regardless if you got your crypto on an exchange or your crypto in a cold storage wallet, you're always going to reap the rewards of it gaining in value. I'd suggest buying a hardware wallet such as a Trezor. You could probably pick one up. Probably Cyber Monday prices may still be in play, maybe for $60 to $70, and put your crypto on that. That'd be a great start, my fam. Put your crypto on cold storage. Amen. Page A Bell. That's what I'm trying to say. Emilio says JV is dedicated and smash like is free. Thank you, Emilio. You're the man. Greatly appreciated, brother. Much love, much respect. Yeah, so sold some stocks to move funds into Bitcoin. Whenever I have cash to spare, I'll keep buying. Word up, Yubin Kim. Matt says, good point. You don't want to... Steven says, even if you only buy 0.005 BTC at a time, do it now. Yeah, it's just good habit. You know what I mean? Emilio, thanks again for that super chat. You're the man, fam. Much love, much respect. The banks are so close to failure. Anything is possible for Bitcoin and gold. Well said, Dan Carden. I agree with you on that one, fam. But anyways, let's now get to our next story of the day as Bitcoin continues its pumpage. And come on, let's send this Bitcoin price to 38,500. Hit a new 18-month high so we can smash 40,000 next major psychological level. Let's freaking go. But anyways, our next story, let's discuss everything related to Bitcoin ETFs, shall we? Buy the rumor, sell the news. Bitcoin ETF may spark TradFi sell-off. That's right. Bitcoin may suffer when the first spot ETF is approved by the US, according to a new warning. In a thread on November 28th, Joshua Lim, head of derivatives at capital market firm Genesis Trading, predicted a volatile start to 2024 for the Bitcoin price action. But interestingly, it's the head of a derivatives exchange, the one telling us to be prepared that something negative can happen to the price action when we get the spot. Interesting. I'm a little sus, but let's read it nonetheless. Bitcoin is already a target for traditional finance, or TradFi, which is betting on winning big out of the spot ETF approval. Here's what he shared. We know the TradFi guys, the macro tourists, are already long crypto ahead of the ETF news. They have built the position over the last few months and are now paying handsomely to roll it, the thread explained, alongside data covering open interest on the CME groups, Bitcoin futures, quoting them here, commitment of traders' data showing asset managers increased length by about $1 billion since the end of September. And here in this chart, you can see the open interest of the CME Bitcoin futures. And yeah, the signs are there in performance of the first Bitcoin futures ETF, which is BITO, as well as stocks of crypto firms such as US exchange Coinbase, and the latter up to 250% year to date. Now, while generating buzz and emboldening the institutional adoption narrative behind Bitcoin, the party could nonetheless quickly fizzle once the spot ETF is actually given the green light. This Lim and others suggest would be a classic buy the rumor, sell the news event. Quoting him here, what does it all mean? TradFi is already long and probably thinking about when to exit this trade around ETF announcement. Expect retail to pile in and expect TradFi guys to exit 2021 tops and basis were prior to coin and BITO listings. Now, will the gold ETF rerun? Lim is also alone in wondering if the ETF approval will ultimately leave lay investors disadvantaged. advantage. Responding, James Stratton, research and data analyst at crypto insights firm CryptoSlate, channeled history to support the concerns. Quoting him here, when the gold ETF was introduced November of 2004, it opened at around 45 bucks and dropped to approximately $41 by May of 2005. However, it saw an impressive 268% increase over the subsequent 7 years. Now, on a more optimistic interim note, popular trader Jelly remarked that institutional interest had not been dented by this week's news stories, including the $4.3 billion settlement with the U.S. Department of Justice and Binance. Now, CME futures, he stressed, continue to trade at a premium over the Bitcoin spot price, as he shares on X. Interesting to note that throughout all of the courtroom drama, the institutions are accumulating BTC. The CME currently has a $350 premium to the Bitfinex spot price, and it had consistently traded at a premium for well over a month. And I looked at some of the charts earlier, and if I'm not mistaken, some of these futures exchanges, Bitcoin was already trading $800 higher than the spot price action. And we all know that derivatives exchanges can manipulate the price action, but the difference between futures and a spot Bitcoin ETF is true price discovery. So you got to ask yourself, why hasn't the SEC, Gary Gensler, the chairman, the sheriff of crypto, allowed the spot ETF, but has allowed multiple futures ETFs? Because with derivatives, they can manipulate the market. They cannot manipulate when there is true price discovery, which we will finally have for the first time in an ETF market once we get the Bitcoin spot ETF finally approved. So really, there's no comparison between the gold ETF and a spot Bitcoin ETF, because the spot Bitcoin ETF is unprecedented. We've never had anything like it in history, and it's the first asset with a finite limited supply, whereas they'll find more gold every year. That's just a fact. What up, Killer Cam? I appreciate you subscribing to the #1 daily Bitcoin pod. Much love, much respect. Welcome, Jackie. Appreciate you. You know, every BlackRock client has already been called to jump in quickly, 1 to 3% of their retirement. Are you for real? That'd be interesting. Hey guys, are you thinking about buying Bitcoin? Now's the time. We're launching our ETF. That would be lit if that's actually true. Hua Rang says buy Bitcoin now. Amen. I second that sentiment. Also, gold was not on a public ledger. Precisely, PJ, hence why there's no comparison whatsoever. Silas says you can store copies of the same crypto on multiple devices. I believe probably worth keeping one outside of your home. They're holding themselves a bunch of crooks. OG says. Majin says it's a good idea. I have a backup ledger. I keep it at a different location. Just make sure you keep those locations secret. That's the key here, clearly, to protect your assets. Dollar sats for price discovery. Let's freaking go. Dollar per sat, send it. Where would that take Bitcoin? Well, we know 1 Bitcoin can be divided by what, 100 million Satoshis. So at $1 a sat, is that a $100 million price action? Let's go. But I have an even more bullish prediction to share with you from one of the top asset managers, Fidelity, but you got to stick around to the end of the show. We're almost there. DCA says today's highs could be tomorrow's low. Well said, Earl Olson. Appreciate you. Dude, 38 again. It's fighting. Only a matter of time. Well, we're above it, so that's a beautiful sign. What up, Meanless? Appreciate you subscribing to the #1 daily Bitcoin pod. Let's freaking go. And we still have so much more to cover. Steve says store your 24-word phrase in several different secret places. Word up. Y'all go buy on a Monday. Remember that. That would be send it. Let's go. Anyways, Laserface says, what do you feel about Charles Hoskins? Oh, we're going to talk about Charles Hoskins' rant here shortly. So let's just dive in to our next story of the day and stick to the routine. We're going to be discussing Bitcoin going on a rally to 48,000, then the Charles Hoskinson rant and the debate between him and Adam Back. And then we'll dive into Fidelity's $1 billion price prediction for the King Crypto and what year they're anticipating this, along with some math if they were to allocate 5% of their assets under management into Bitcoin. But first, let's break down this 48,000 rally, shall we? Because this may be coming a lot sooner than you guys think. Bitcoin may cruise to nearly 50 G's, baby, as the US okays the first spot Bitcoin ETF. Now, a flagged by popular analyst CryptoCon, the Ichimoku Cloud Indicator is counting down to the upside Bitcoin price continuation. Bitcoin is in a rare position right now in the weekly time frames when it comes to the Ichimoku Cloud. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that term right. You guys let me know. Now, the indicator combining past, present, and future trading cues suggests the Bitcoin price gains have only yet begun. Let's go. CryptoCon delivered a specific target on what could happen next. Now, the Ichimoku's leading spans have crossed, leading to the formation of a new upside cloud. And with a lagging span, the Chico breaking out of the resistance price should now logically head higher. Quoting him here, the weekly Ichimoku cloud called our last Bitcoin rise to 38,000 2 months in advance, with the cross projected into the future. Now we wait for it to fill its next calls. The completion of our rise and the first target of 43,000. This has taken anywhere from 7 to 11 weeks from the cross. On average of 10 weeks means our move completes in early January. So there you have it. This is suggesting Bitcoin surpassing roughly the 43,000 mark in January, just a few weeks out. Now, CryptoCon added that 43.2 was in fact the most conservative level, and that 48,000 was a suitable ceiling. There's a good price range for you. Even with some pause in between, the indicator that looks into the future says we are not done. So hence, we're not done. We're just getting this party started. What are your thoughts? Now, the Ichimoku's timing is arguably interesting as its targets. Should traditional timing play out based on previous bull markets, the 48,000 move should come in early January, coinciding with the expected ETF approval date. That's right around that same time, fam. It's about to be lit. Little is known about what U.S. regulators have in store or which specific ETF products, if any, will get the green light first. In fact, there's a lot of speculation they may all be approved at around that same time to avoid showing favoritism and to avoid some lawsuits. But in the meantime, the US SEC, which determines what ETFs come to market, continues to pressure the crypto sentiment with enforcement actions against Binance, the world's largest exchange, which we know just had to pay a $4.3 billion fine. They also have been attacking other exchanges such as Kraken. In fact, 10 months ago, they had to settle for $30 million. And now they've come around for round two, deeming 16 cryptos listed on the Kraken exchange as unregistered securities, including Solana, including Polygon/Matic, and so many other cryptocurrencies. So let me know your thoughts surrounding this latest development. I'll read some of these comments out loud. Dash On says, Clifford Williams, does that mean you are bullish on Dash, one of the privacy coins? Do let me know. Emilio says 100,000 is nothing. We know that, but a party in Puerto Rico, now that's something. Amen. Looking forward to seeing you there, Emilio. It's going to be lit. That cylinder would be a good Christmas present to myself. Word up. Let's go. You can buy a stainless steel cylinder to store your 24-word phrase for about $100. That is fireproof and waterproof from Ledger, says Steve Hubbs. Trezor has some great deals for Black Friday. Don't know if the sale is still on. Got a Trezor One Thanksgiving for only $48. That's a no-brainer. They also make great stocking stuffers. So if you want to introduce crypto to somebody, buy them a wallet and tell them to put some Bitcoin on it, or better yet, put some Bitcoin on it for them. Whether it's $10, $50, $100, whatever you can afford, make it a very Merry Christmas. Why not? All you need to do is keep in multiple locations as the seed phrases. Keep them on metal in insecure locations, says Jeff Rhodes. Let's go. You can buy, yes, good to know. RIP Soloway, is he still bearish? Is he still calling for big corrections of sub 20,000 to close the CME gap? Let me know, because I don't actually watch that guy, but I know he's a perma bear. Always bearish, and it makes you wonder, is he being paid to act this way, or is he just that ignorant when it comes to Bitcoin? I believe it. Trezor, Ledger, others are all in competition with one another. JV, it's like all this FUD is done so people won't buy. Facts. That's 100% correct. They want to see you poor and impoverished, begging for CBDC. That's just the way that it is. What if the ETF isn't approved in January? The Bitcoin price drops so we can buy even more, holding to infinity. Anything's possible, fam. There is that likelihood we don't get the approval in January, then the next deadline wouldn't be till March. But guess what? Bitcoin's going to do its thing regardless of the ETF, because Bitcoin doesn't need the ETF. Wall Street needs Bitcoin, hence why they want to give their customers what they're demanding, because they want to make some money at the end of the day. But even without the ETF approval, Bitcoin will go on to hit new cycle highs and surpass 100,000 this cycle for the peak. I believe that wholeheartedly. Why? Because previous cycles, there were no institutional adoption. There was no rumors of ETFs being approved. None of that. And Bitcoin still did its thing. So I would expect, nonetheless, from the King Crypto, but I look at it as icing on the cake. The ETF is just like adding fuel to the fire to let that mofo burn. So let's freaking go. That's right, Matt. Soon. Send it. But anyways, you guys wanted to hear about the latest with with the rant from Charles Hoskinson. How many of you watched the rant? I saw it from Altcoin Daily. They shared it. Here was the original post that was shared. Charles Hoskinson, this is the Cardano founder, goes off on the SEC and Bitcoin while getting a pass, while Cardano in crypto has to suffer. And he's like pretty upset. He's like, why do the Bitcoin moon boys get a free pass and we have to suffer? Let me know if you heard the rant. He curses and everything and clearly is very upset. And this actually sparked a debate, which was very interesting. Adam Back responded, it's very simple. Bitcoin did not do an ICO. Most people thought it had no value, but it was mined from zero. It is decentralized. There is no CEO. ICO, war-chested foundation and corporation, etc. So Cardano, ETH, etc. clearly pass Howey. Bitcoin is a commodity and does not. Then Huskinson responded, there was no Cardano ICO. There was an airdrop onto a distribution, and then thousands of people who never met each other traded Cardano on exchanges and used Cardano for their projects. A voucher sale of a different asset outside the United States, priced in yen, settled in Bitcoin, explained in Japanese to Japanese citizens, and without a single U.S. participant, does not constitute an ICO of ADA. Back responded, I am sure you have legal advice to not say certain things, so are at a slight disadvantage in discussing, but an airdrop and a premin and some market making is still an ICO, plus obvious management team reliance for expectation of profit, etc. Hoskinson responded, an airdrop is not an ICO. Even the SEC has left this ambiguous. Ask the SEC what the status of EOS is after their settlement with Block 1. There was no public offering of Cardano from a centralized source. There was one by Ethereum for Ether, and they apparently aren't a security, so that can't even be the standard. I am done with the Bitcoin community, calling everyone who isn't Bitcoin ishcoin scammers. I am done with Team Orange lobbying the United States government to criminalize everything but Bitcoin. I am done with the sad arguments that mining somehow is different when Satoshi was the sole miner for months with Bitcoin and had absolute power over the network. He stayed anonymous by his own admission because of legal ambiguity. I am sorry, running a network yourself for a year, getting 10% of the supply, and then selling them isn't somehow morally superior to proof of stake. The public supply of Cardano was distributed by tens of thousands of Japanese people trading on the secondary market after the network launch. So there you have it. There's some back and forth between Adam Back and Charles Hoskinson, the founder of Cardano. Let me know which one you agree with more. Do you think Cardano, you know what I mean, is a security as the SEC is deeming it? Or do you think he makes a good point in his argument and his debate with Adam Back? Let me know, and maybe I'll read a little more from the story here. He says, if you subpoena and attack about 3 different entities, you can perform a 51% attack on Bitcoin. This is quoting, again, Charles Hoskinson from this interview, because that's the way the hash power works. But it is decentralized, apparently, and Team Orange gets a complete pass. So clearly, he doesn't like Bitcoin or Team Orange, just FYI. He's very perturbed, to say the least. In describing the SEC treatment of Bitcoin as an absolutely pathetic joke, Hoskinson queried the difference between Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano. Explain it to me like I'm 5 years old. Run the Howey test on it and show me the difference between the two, he said, arguing the Bitcoin's orange pill moon boys have an expectation of returns and accusing right here, the SEC of wasting hundreds of millions of dollars in a Pyrrhic war that's being fought on the industry. The founder said that eventually they'll lose the court case after court case that they have already have and will continue. And then at some point I will stop and there will be no apology. That is not going to be any money that comes back. So it sounds like he knows the end of his road is near because the SEC is clearly going to be going after him. And railing against the unaccountable government and regulators, he also praised libertarian lawmakers, saying that the only people that seem to improve the situation are the people that are unraveling the government, quoting him one last time here. The entire reason cryptocurrencies exist is that we are trying to collectively reestablish the social contract because the social contract is horrifically broken. So there you have it. Let me know if you agree with Hoskinson or what are your thoughts surrounding Cardano. Do you feel it's an unlicensed security? Let me know, fam. I'll read some of these comments out loud, then we'll dive into our featured story of the day, discuss the latest from Fidelity along with their $1 billion Bitcoin price prediction, along with the math of how we can get to at least $5 million per coin. Emilio, let's go. Appreciate you guys. Steve is disappointed in Ledger's back door. Oh, word. I am hoping Bitcoin hits 100,000 when it is cold here. The party will feel even better. Amen. 100,000 is coming. It's inevitable. The question is, will it come early 2024? Will it be mid-year or toward the latter end of the year? That's the million-dollar question right now. Corona says, Cardano, Bitcoin, just stack them both. Word up, guys. Houdini Crypto says, great to put in that like. Thanks, Bitcoin. Let's go. That's right. The more you like it, the more eyeballs will see the live stream and the more we'll pump. That's just the nature of the beast. We want to get to 38.5 so we can hit 42 and hit 50 in December for Christmas. We need all the likes we can get. Just saying. Poor Charlie. Cheer up, Charlie, says Danny Bitcoin, right? All praises to the Giasa show. I don't know if I can pronounce that, fam. Steve, I'm skeptical. I have a ledger and pulled it out. I'm not very sophisticated with all this, but it is sketchy. Yeah, anyone with a back door, you got to second guess or question, you know what I mean, their integrity, because it's not a good look when the ledger founder says if the government requests the information for the back door, we have to give it to them. That's not a good look, fam. Yes, so I like Trezor personally because it's open source and there's no backdoor. Those two factors right there separate it from the ledger. Just FYI, if you're comparing the two and you're like, which one should I get? I'd probably more lean towards Trezor because of the no backdoor. And I believe that their founders are true Bitcoin folk. Whereas with the ledger, I kind of question their own integrity, but just saying. Okay, good says DCA all the way, BTC. You already know, let's go. Jack says, I do like Cardano. How many others? I know it's a major crypto. Many of you probably hold Cardanos. That's why I wanted to know your thoughts and read this to you guys. Which year will Shimp be rich? Are we talking about Peter Schiff when you say Shimp? You guys are hilarious, fam. Good stuff. DCA all the way. Hoskinson can't take it. That Bitcoin is the king crypto. Sorry, Charles. There is no second best. Well said, Ape. Bringing Sailor to the argument. I love it. But anyways, fam, now let's break down our breaking story of the day. Fidelity, the $4.5 trillion asset manager, predicts the Bitcoin price action hitting $1 billion per coin. That's right. Let's discuss it, shall we? Here's the headline. Can Bitcoin achieve Fidelity's $1 billion price target by 2038? That's the deadline for the target. We're going to be discussing this in great detail, but I also wanted to share something that was shared by Bitcoin for Freedom. He wrote here, Fidelity has talked about a 5% allocation into Bitcoin. If the other asset managers of the spot ETFs do the same, here's what can happen. 17 trillion assets under management times 5% equals $850 billion. Using the BOF bull market multiple, 850 billion times 118 equals 100 trillion in the Bitcoin market cap. 100 trillion divided by 19.5 million coins equals 5.13 million per BTC. So there's some math. And someone chimed in here. Someone put possible, most likely, and someone else wrote, if 850 billion tries to chase available Bitcoin, then the price will exceed 5 million per Bitcoin quite a bit. Maxis are unshakable. Amen. HODL is real. Supply shock is about to be a thing, and the mines will melt when retail and institutions start FOMOing. I say FOMO like a mofo. Let's go. I'm also going to be sharing with you 10 key points that Fidelity recently shared in a report on why investors should consider Bitcoin. Now they have over 43 million investors currently trusting Fidelity. So this is a pretty big deal when it comes to mass adoption. And as pointed out here, there's currently 12 plus spot Bitcoin ETFs that are ready to launch right now. But there is this one ugly man standing in the way by the name of Chairman Gary Gensler. So come on, Gary, do the right thing here for once. And as Plan B shares here, creator of the Bitcoin stock to flow model, ETF approval should come before April 2024 Bitcoin halving, or else the ETFs will have little upside left. Now, stock to flow shows you the price action surpassing 100,000, going as high as 1 million post 2024 halving. If you didn't watch my episode I did yesterday predicting Bitcoin hitting, I think the target was 524,000 per coin post Bitcoin halving, then be sure to check it out because I broke down the math and all the details and quoting the great Plan B. And in other news here, Mike Alfred shared, when BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF is approved, they will need to acquire several 100,000 BTC to fulfill the end customer demand. There is no way they can acquire this much Bitcoin without moving the price significantly. This is the core issue they are actively working on now, hence why they are investing in Bitcoin miners. would make sense to me. And as crypto rover shares, only a few will understand. The BlackRock Bitcoin Spot ETF has a 1-to-1 backing with real BTC. This will push Bitcoin above 100,000 almost instantly. You are early to the game. Amen. Can you say $100,000 fiesta in Puerto Rico? Let's freaking go. Now let's break down some of the math on Fidelity's $1 billion price prediction. This all starts to come from Jurian Timmer, the lady on the thumbnail of today's show. That's Abigail Johnson. She is the female version of Larry Fink. She is the CEO of Fidelity, the $4.5 trillion asset manager, and her grandfather actually founded Fidelity, just FYI. But now let's talk about Jurian Timmer. The director of global macro of Fidelity put forth the notion that Bitcoin has the potential to reach the value of $1 billion per coin in roughly 2 decades from the time he originally made the prediction, which would take us to the year 2038, roughly 15 years from today's date. To support his forecast, Timmer employed a combination of models and charts with a particular focus on the stock-to-flow model and his own demand model. And I just zoomed it in a little so you can see better on the screen. Let me know if this works. These analytical tools form the foundation of his primary prediction, which you can see here. It shows you the Bitcoin supply and demand models. This above demand model employs Metcalfe's law. And according to this, the number of its users grows linearly. A network's value, or by inference of the Bitcoin price, grows geometrically. This means that the utility and the adoption of Bitcoin are expected to grow more rapidly compared to its network of users, exchanges, ATMs, and participating retailers. Therefore, this model predicted the Bitcoin will reach $1 million by 2030. And I know you've heard that prediction before. Coming from ARK Invest is Kathy Wood. She has her bull scenario at 1.48 million per BTC by the year 2030. Her bear scenario is like roughly 265,000, and her base case stands strong at 650,000 per BTC. Now, in contrast, Timmer's stock-to-flow supply model notes the event of significant price surges during each halving event. Consequently, when considering this model in conjunction with other factors, it foresees a price range of 1 million to 10 million per coin for Bitcoin by the year 2030. So there you have it. We can do 10x the target of Kathy Wood by that same time frame. Now, Timmer's demand model is more inclined towards reflecting the bottom of the Bitcoin price. And on the other hand, we have the stock-to-flow model, which seems to provide a better approximation for the peak of Bitcoin. However, it's worth noting the disparity between these two models widening significantly beyond the year 2030. The reason behind this gap is expected to be the changing value of the US dollar. That's right. What if the dollar experiences hyperinflation like the Argentine peso? That's when this prediction becomes very realistic. So let's discuss it. Timmer proposes that the value of the dollar undergoes fluctuations over time when compared to other assets. For example, if $1 was invested in stocks during the 18th century, its present day value would be roughly $4 billion. Talk about hyperinflation. Good Lord, US dollar. Now, similarly, Timmer implied that if $1 million is invested today, it can grow to $1 billion in a span of 20 years. This further revealed that the purchasing power of the dollar has significantly reduced due to factors like inflation and depreciation. Thus, Timmer's statement implied that keeping a fixed amount of dollars for many years may lead to reduced purchasing power due to the assets changing value. So there you have it. So is this milestone still achievable for the King coin? Please do let me know your thoughts, because now I actually want to share with you the 10 things to consider according to Fidelity and why you should invest into the King crypto. This is a report they released, I think, back in September, a few months ago. Let me break this down for you. I should be able to pull this up. Let me see. Maybe I got to click on it. There we go. Here we go. We're going to read for you the 10 points. Starting here. Fidelity finds Bitcoin is the best money, clearly, quoting them in the report. Bitcoin clearly possesses a lot of good qualities of money, combining the scarcity and durability of gold with the ease of use, storage, and transportability of fiat. And as you can see here, comparing side by side, gold with Bitcoin and fiat currency, when it comes to durability, divisibility, fungibility, portability, verifiable, scarce, and the track record, with Bitcoin clearly being on top. Now, they also explain the virtuous cycle of Bitcoin, quoting them here. This Bitcoin network competition is likely to result in a winner-take-all scenario as the network grows and becomes more valuable, which ultimately means there is no second best. The winner takes all. And you can see the cycle here they refer to as the virtuous cycle of reflectivity of Bitcoin. Next up, they compare Bitcoin to the invention of the wheel. Quoting the report, the invention of the wheel represented an entirely new tech that once invented could never be reinvented. Similarly, never in human history had the problem of peer-to-peer electronic cash been solved until BTC. And they also share, Fidelity is amazed Bitcoin survived. Every minute, hour, day, and year that Bitcoin survives increases its chances of continuing into the future. People would probably underestimate all of the negative events that Bitcoin has already endured. There's like 10,000 obituaries from the mainstream, right? But we're still here, fam. We're still going strong. They also share, Fidelity provides hard numerical data showing how secure Bitcoin is compared to the altcoins. Quoting them here, in terms of sheer computational power required to alter the network's consensus, Bitcoin far exceeds any remaining proof-of-work competitors. And as I shared yesterday, the Bitcoin hash rate just surpassed 500 quintillion exahashes per second, which is yet a new all-time high, which ultimately means the network for Bitcoin has never been this secure and strong. They also share here, Fidelity compares Bitcoin to the internet. The internet protocol suite, known as TCP/IP, is an open source based layer, applications on top of which to be built. So owning Bitcoin would be akin to being able to own the base layer of the internet. So how many of you own some Bitcoin? Make some noise, because guess what? It's equivalent to owning the base layer of the internet. That's a pretty big deal, my fam. Now they also write, Bitcoin continues to dominate the market cap of all competing crypto tokens. That's right. As of today, the Bitcoin market cap is roughly 52+% of the entire crypto market, and that can go up to 70, 80%. There's no telling how high it shall climb, as Bitcoin, after all, is the apex predator, right? They also say Fidelity agrees Bitcoin is useful. It appears at this point that Bitcoin has found the role in the digital asset ecosystem as a scarce store value asset at the very least. Amen. And I think there's one more point they make here. Fidelity concludes, Bitcoin should be considered first and separate from all other digital assets that have followed it. Word up. Let me know if you agree or disagree with Fidelity and what's your thoughts surrounding their $1 billion price target in the next 15 years by the year 2038. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And also surrounding the major asset managers such as Fidelity and others just allocating 5% of their assets under management into Bitcoin, taking the Bitcoin price to $5+ million per coin. I broke down the math. Now you know. Let's go. Mike says the Kitco channel has a good interview with the lead crypto analyst at Fidelity recently. Are you referring to Jurian Timmer, the head of macro? Let me know. I'll have to check that out. Maybe I'll do a live JV React session to it. What do you think? Nah, Bitcoin is a strong vegan, says Silas. Nipsey is JV's sideshow Bob. How dare you? In my Greta voice, Steve. How dare you? Absolutely agree. Bitcoin should be a majority by cost of everyone's portfolio. Amen. And we did a poll yesterday, and I think I asked, what's your allocation of Bitcoin to your portfolio? And the majority of you have between 50 and 99% of your portfolio is in Bitcoin. So it's good to know. Now we know. Yep, Jerry and Timmer. Good to know. I like Timmer. He's cool. Whole Corner Hodl. You already know Corona Free Radio. Let's freaking go. This is our live Q&A session. We do this at the end of every show. If you have any questions for JV, feel free to ask, and I'll answer them to the best of my abilities. Let's go. Carl Berry, London in the building. What it do, JV and fam? Appreciate you tuning in. Carl Berry, what it do? I'm going to drink some water here. Feels so good. Now I'm rehydrated. Let's go. Now we can pump. The pump shall continue. Let's go. Yeah, we should see at least 50,000s. By when? Or 50%, you're referring to the dominance, fam? Or are you referring to your hodling allocation into Bitcoin? Let me know what you guys. AI blockchain, what do you think? So are you referring to something different than the Bitcoin blockchain? Because I don't know anything about an AI blockchain, just being real. I have no clue. Corona Free says 63% BTC. Cool. That's what's up. Get those are rookie numbers, soldier. Get those numbers up. That's what Sailor would be telling you. We need an occasional Nipsey segment in the show. I know. What if I could get a webcam specifically on Nip? Or maybe I can put it on his head like a little helmet, and then we can see the Nip cam. Life through the eyes of Nipsey. That'd be pretty lit, right? Stack those stats, says Steven. Word up. This week will be Bitcoin at 40,000. Hopefully so. I mean, we're so damn close, aren't we? I feel it. I feel it in my loins. I think this is the week too. Emilio says, fear not, Bitcoin is scarce, portable, so much advantages Bitcoin has over gold. However, do you underestimate the club? They will keep the prices down until they have enough. Then boom, amen. Precisely what they want to do. That's exactly why we have no spot Bitcoin ETF at this time. They know the prices will just shoot on up to new all-time highs like that. Like nothing, we can be above six figures, fam. And they rather their homeboys on Wall Street get Bitcoin at a deal because it's all about making the maximum amount of profits. We all know the power that BlackRock has over the government. Their track record is like 575 to 1 with getting their ETF approved by the regulators. So that means anything BlackRock wants, they ultimately will get. And they're coming for your Bitcoins. That's why we're so confident the ETF will come eventually, but we all know Gary is a shady mofo, so kind of just is what it is. Yes to Nips Cam Top, says Barry. Word. Bitcoin 54%, Ether 28%, other alts 18% by cost. That's Steve Hubb's allocation. Word. Don't want to be greedy. You'll have a dollar cost exit. No, I don't have a dollar cost exit because I would never want to trade perfect money for fiat crap. I don't want their Ponzi scheme dollars. I chose to unplug from the matrix back in 2018 when I relocated to Puerto Rico. I closed out my bank accounts. I donated all my fiat cash to charities. And I said, I just want to live a Bitcoin life. I'm sick of supporting our oppressors, and the banks are oppressors. Central banking cartels, why would you want to support them? Why give them your money? Why allow them to use it for fractional reserve banking so they can scam humanity through their banking Ponzi schemes? The US dollar is the ultimate Ponzi. They should be comparing the dollar to tulip bulbs, you know what I mean? Let alone discussing, oh, is Bitcoin a pet rock? Bitcoin tulips, and all this FUD we see from the mainstream, like from the cartel banking heads like Jamie the Tapeworm Diamond. You already know, fam. People keep doubting Bitcoin. When will they learn? Some people will never learn. You know what I mean? Some people got to keep touching the hot stove over and over their entire life and keep getting burned because, hey, some people choose to learn the hard way. You know what I mean? Where the writing clearly is on the wall, but no one wants to do the research. No one wants to put in any work. I don't understand it myself. Can you explain it to me, please? JC in the building. What up, Justin Campbell? Appreciate you, man. He says, I am deep in Algorand. Word up. That's Scaramucci's coin, right? I know he's very long on Algo as well. People keep doubting Bitcoin. That's right. Let the doubters doubt. It is what it is. Zero. Appreciate the super chat. It's all good with being late. I just appreciate you turning up regardless. So much love, much respect. Your YouTube revenue is paid in fiat. It is. That's why I'm not 100% Bitcoin. I have a business I run from Puerto Rico. I do get paid in fiat. YouTube delivers me a check every month. There's a carrier. They give me a check in like a FedEx thing, and it has a check. So I have a local bank account specifically for my bank. But what I was saying is I closed all my local bank accounts in Florida when I relocated to Puerto Rico, and I donated all my fiat crap to charities. But yes, I still have one bank account specifically to run a business because I can't run my business without the bank account. So just keeping it 100, fam, now you know. So yes, YouTube pays me in fiat. It's just the nature of the beast. I still pay some of my bills in fiat. So I'm not 100% only living on Bitcoin, but that's where I'm trying to get to, you know what I mean? That's the direction, that's the trajectory I am going. I don't like dealing with fiat. I try to minimize my use of it as much as possible. I use it to pay my bills. I keep enough fiat to pay my bills, and the rest is history. It is what it is. Thoughts on Puerto Rico stablehood or statehood? Good question, Michael. I've been living here since frickin' 2018. I like it personally. I think it's a beautiful place to be. I came from Florida. The weather is kind of similar. It's hot year round. Like right now, it's perfect weather, probably 85 degrees. Thank you again, Zero. I suggest visiting. Before I relocated here at my fam, I visited and I checked out the island. I checked out with some realtors. We checked out real estate, different parts of the island, and I made sure it was the right fit for me. And it was. And I think it was one of the best decisions I made. There's a lot of incentives to living out here. It's a beautiful culture. The people are beautiful. The people are nice. I like Puerto Rico. I like Puerto Ricans. My family is Italian. Italians have very big similarities to the Puerto Rican, culture as well. So I kind of feel like I fit right in. The only disadvantage, keeping it real, I don't speak Spanish. I wish I did. If I spoke Spanish, it'd be even greater. But hey, it is what it is. I got to learn. So yeah, statehood would suck the people living in PR, just in my opinion. So define statehood. What do you mean by statehood? I know, yeah, I mean, governments suck everywhere, virtually except El Salvador right now. You know what I mean? They have Nayib Bukele. They adopted Bitcoin as a legal tender, but most governments all suck. And Puerto Rico, no different. They have, you know, I believe very bad political leaders that are always getting in trouble for being, what's the word I'm looking for? Maybe I shouldn't talk too much crap here because I'm not from here initially, but you know what I mean? They're corrupted at those levels. Politicians are corrupted. It's just the nature of the beast. It's no different in the United States. Same thing. This is just a territory of the United States, so it's just an extension of the United States. You know what I mean? Oops, I meant 69% of the Bitcoin by market value, says Steven. Future insult circa 2050. You are so flat. Charlie Munger, bye-bye. What about Charlie? Charlie passing is a symbol of how old. Did he pass? Or are you guys just pulling my leg? Emilio, you want to sell Bitcoin to buy property. I want to sell property to buy Bitcoin. Y'all want to buy some real estate? I will sell cheap for some Bitcoin. Word up. Mongo like Bitcoin. Oh, I like mofongo, if that's a food you're talking about here. It's delicious. JV, visit El Salvador. Welcome. Yes, I may have already relocated to El Salvador, but I have a child and a baby mama in Puerto Rico. So unfortunately, it's not that simple. I can't just get up and relocate. Otherwise, maybe I would have a while back, but I am in Puerto Rico for the long haul, just FYI. You know what I mean? Sailor says, only sell to enhance your life, not to buy a Lambo. Amen. Well said. Do you guys also have XRP? Now, XRP is a bridge currency, which they're going to be using for the CBDCs, the central bank digital currencies. I don't support any cryptos that perpetuate the establishment and the control of the powers that be. I'm the opposite. So I'm straight Bitcoin, decentralized crypto is the way to go. To me, it's not even a question, but hey, to each their own. I don't judge, I don't hate. I want to see everyone be successful because that's why we got into crypto in the first place. So I congratulate people when they win. I want to see more people win. Regardless of how you win, there's many ways to climb a mountain. Here's an analogy. As long as you get to the top, it don't matter. As long as you do things ethically and do things right with a good heart. I truly believe that. Murger. Did Murger get murdered? Are you guys just messing with me? Is that for real? Did he die today at age 99? Again, I didn't see any news on this. It's you guys sharing it with me. I don't want to spread any false rumors. So please do verify if that's true. We will suffer because you'll deserve it for your poor choice, says Emilio. Not sure who you're referring to them, but guys are like, Charlie may have died. Wow. If so, that's breaking to me. You need passive income because you don't want to sell Bitcoin to fund your living expenses. I'm selling a little ETH to pay for my kids' college. That's kind of my situation. Why do I have a podcast? I need to make enough money to pay my bills, and I don't want to have to tap into other forms of you know what. AI said Charlie just died. Well, AI, I mean, who's AI? What does that mean? Yeah, Charlie Munger is dead. Like literally. Confirmed. Wow. I mean, all enemies of Bitcoin will eventually perish, but wasn't anticipating that. I thought the man would live another 100 years, considering he drinks diet soda in his interviews with all that aspartame. I'm like, oh, clearly he has a superpower that the rest of us don't have. So no more Bitcoin bashing from him. Wow, Charlie died. Just as per Yahoo Finance. So it's official according to you guys. Charlie Munger is officially dead. One of the biggest enemies of Bitcoin. Wow. Warren Buffett's right-hand man. 99 years old. Wow. Crazy, fam. You can buy an investment property, for example, for passive income. CNBC just confirmed, says Abel Gonzalez. Thank you for confirming that. Another catalyst, Munger down. There we go. Now Bitcoin can hit $1 million per coin, right? He's out of the way. CNBC's Charlie Munger, investing genius, and Warren Buffett's right-hand man dies at age 99. Imagine that. Your goal is to get to 100 years old. Boom. Done. Fiat will do that to you. And diet soda, fam, will do that to you. Stay away from diet soda and stay away from fiat currency. He could have been drinking fresh, fluoride-free water. He could have been, you know what I mean, investing in Bitcoin, but he chose his own fate. So there you have it. The cost of a Ferrari or a Lambo will come down majority in Bitcoin. You can now buy Ferraris. That's right. You can buy a Ferrari direct with BTC now. Why are Bitcoiners always talking about Lambos? Maybe because it's most people's dream cars. I'd much rather have a Ferrari or get back to the Porsche I used to have before relocating to Puerto Rico. I sold my Porsche for some Bitcoin. I think it was a smart move. Also sold my gold Rolex Daytona for some Bitcoin because I much rather have Bitcoin and generational wealth than material things. That's just me. What do you guys think? You cannot bring your money into the other side. But one thing you can do is remember your private keys, and you can come back on the planet. They call that in Buddhism reincarnation. And if you could tap into that memory, right? Because the spirit never loses the memory, just like you can have memories of a past life. Maybe you can recall your Bitcoin seed phrase and come back and bada boom, bada bing. Just saying, there's a hack for you. This is advanced crypto news alerts, but just saying. Yes, announced on Finance. Word, that's crazy. Which is the best to trade now on Bybit or Binance? I don't know about any of these exchanges anymore. I find them all a little sus. Just keeping it real. I don't know. You got to find the right exchange for you, but trust none of them. Make your trade and then immediately remove your crypto off the exchange, regardless of the exchange. That's my advice to you. Change hearts of Puerto Rico people, then statehood. Typo correction. Okay, Nate. It's in the 50s after a failed eye cataract surgery that rendered and left his eye blind. Munger had his left eye removed due to severe pain. Oh my God. So are you saying he had the eye removed and he still died? For Christ's sake. Chucky is dead, says Ron P. God bless. I sold my Z4 for Bitcoin. I got 2 kids and a sports car. Just sat there. Mine was well sitting in Bitcoin. Word up. Wow, Bitcoin miner Bitfarms killed it today. Awesome news last night, going much higher. Good to note, Nate. Shout out to all the miners out there as well. Holy moly. But anyways, fam, we're going to continue with the uncensored version of Crypto News Alerts. We're going to be doing some live React sessions. If you didn't know, you got this sexy board right here called the Roadcaster. There's some smart pads. I'm going to be doing some live JV Reacts. It's going to be lit. I highly encourage you to join us over on Rumble because we're streaming there right now. Head on over to Rumble. It's rumble.cryptonewsalerts.net or open the app and type in Crypto News Alerts. Check out the live stream and let's continue over on Rumble. I'm out, YouTube. Deuces. Peace. See you tomorrow. Same bit time, same bit channel. Cheers, fam.